Good morning from a very sunny Duncombe House. It is a beautiful Thursday morning, the sun is out, we've had high winds, sleet, snow, rain, sunshine. Today is a glorious day, and that is why we're going to spend the day in the loft.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an absolute whopper of an episode. My darling wife is correct in saying that this week we adventured unto the loft once more, but fear not, because today's instalment of Duncombe House Diaries, aka the unrelenting plight of two hapless fools, a dog, a cat, and a captain of chaos renovating an abandoned English country home, is brimming with far, far, far more than simply our loft. In today's episode, we are finally going to be revealing the location of the much anticipated Duncombe House kitchen, and we'll also be introducing you all to a most mysterious guest, a masterful artisan who has helped us to make some of our biggest renovation decisions to date. Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time to plan the galley. As if that wasn't enough, at Rob's request, he and I have been treasure hunting together, and you are not going to believe what we have found. As Jazzy mentioned, despite the crippling claustrophobia and dastardly dust, we have also finally filled the loft with sheep. I am going to treat you to the absolute dog's dinner, which is my attempt at the next phase of our antique dresser conversion project, and King Julian has been feeding Quincy shortbread biscuits on an industrial scale. Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back, my friends, to Duncombe House Diaries.
Thank you all so much for bearing with us while we are doing these a bit more mundane tasks, but they need to be done, and it's only us two to do it, so I'm sorry you guys are going to have to watch it as well. But I promise after this we have got some really exciting things lined up. I'm feeling that my Pinterest board is starting to come to life. So one more week in the loft, and then we're starting from the top down, coving, the decoration, flooring ideas, discussing the kitchen, which I need everyone's help with. So we are getting there.
You'll all be delighted to hear that after a rather short period of convalescence, Dean has made a full and hearty recovery and is back bullying the dog. I love Dean to bits, but let me tell you now, nothing on earth would compel me to get another cat.
I am very tempted to get another cat. I'm not really sure how it works. He is a 1.5-year-old male. Do I get another male? Do I get a female? Do I get an older cat, a younger cat? Do I get a kitten? I have no idea where to start with that, so any advice on that, please do let us know.
Jolly good. Looks like we're getting another cat then. Now, as we move out of the renovation doldrums here at Duncombe House, we are going to be spoiling you with exciting renovation, restoration and rejuvenation projects. The first of many being the antique dresser. You will all recall that we purchased this early 20th century French dresser from one of our favourite antique shops, Derwent Side Mill, and after establishing that the main bathroom would be its new home, we took it down to the masters of marble at Yes Granite for them to cut the holes for our cast iron bath company, Ashby and Stone, brass, body taps and underslung sink. And that was all very well and good. But before we can use this gorgeous vanity to wash behind our ears, etc., we need to do some adjustments, because as it stands, the central supporting pillar is exactly where we don't want it. Now, this may come as a surprise to many of you, but I am not actually an experienced plumber, nor am I a professional cabinet maker. However, what I lack in actual skills, I make up for aplenty in naivety and moxie. I decided that the first commonsensical step would be to carefully remove the aforementioned central pillar and then see where we were at. Now, as you can probably imagine, having completed cabinet making with ease, I was feeling rather cocksure at this point, so decided to immediately move on to the sink. However, before I had a chance to get properly stuck in with the second part of this project, my darling wife politely pointed out that today of all days we had rather more important things to be doing, because at any moment our star guest was arriving.
Well, happy Monday. Today is a very exciting day. We are expecting a very exciting guest who is going to help us plan our kitchen. We have kind of not really been announcing where we're going to put the kitchen yet. It's kind of been up in the air for a while, but we have finally decided exactly where it's going to go. And we have Tim from Shaker Wholesale who's coming today to help us design every single aspect of it, and I am so excited. I'm not a great cook, but I love the kitchen, so I'm so excited to kind of get into the weeds and work out exactly how we want the layout, how we want the island, where we want everything to go, where's going to be best for light, for storage, all these different things. So today is a really nice day, and I'm really looking forward to having someone who knows exactly what they're talking about coming to Duncombe House and offering their expertise. But first things first, we have about an hour before Tim arrives, so we need to quickly tidy up this space because, like most building sites, it's become a bit of a dumping ground for everything that hasn't got a home. So quick tidy up before Tim gets here.
And then, as if on cue, just as the final brush sweeps were being sweep-earthed, he arrived. And no, I don't mean Tim from Shaker Wholesale, I mean Doug, our favourite delivery driver.
You're back! Yeah. The last time I saw you, I said it was going to be the last bit of plaster we had.
Got some plaster and another stuff, I don't know.
Oh, insulation, yeah. This actually will be the last. I know. Last time I was naive and hopeful, but this is gonna be the last one.
Doug from D&D Haulage has become a sight for sore eyes here at Duncombe House. He has been the chap that has delivered all of our Womersley's and ThermaFleece deliveries over the past 12 months and has visited us so regularly that we have grown rather fond of him. Today, Doug was delivering our last pallet of Womersley's superfine plaster and an entire flock of ThermaFleece sheep's wool insulation destined for the lofts of Duncombe House. And because Doug is such a top chap, he even brought it to the back door for us. So with Tim still due any moment, we left King Julian doing a noble job of schlepping the insulation up to Jazzy's dressing room. Yes, I have fully capitulated. And headed back inside. We decided it would be a rather good idea to pull out some of the pieces that we had collected for the kitchen so that Tim would be able to get a feeling for our atmosphere, as it were. So far, we have the following items nailed down. Firstly, we have our ludicrously gorgeous Soho lighting, light switches and sockets. Now, we still haven't decided 100% which ones we are going to go for throughout the house, so whilst we are on the topic, please do let us know what you think. Should we go for the slightly golder and bolder Belgravia collection, or the slightly more muted Westminster? Thoughts and ideas in the comments, please. The second standout item we have for this space is 2 of these preposterously heavy and luxurious Dubarry pendant lights for above the table, also from the Soho Lighting Company. Lastly, but in no way whatsoever least, we have the servants' bell system, aka the ding-a-ling, which will be going back up pride of place above the door. Now feels like a sensible juncture to address the rather large elephant in the boot room. Where is the kitchen at Duncombe House? Now, the reason we have deliberated for so long over this seemingly obvious question is that it is in fact not that obvious at all. However, no doubt you will have guessed by now, and we can finally confirm that the kitchen, for now at least, here at Duncombe House will be located in what we have been warmly referring to as the boot room. But where will you keep all of your boots? I hear you cry. Well, the honest answer is we simply don't know. But at the end of the day, being able to make a gorgeous tartiflette trumps being able to store one's Wellingtons. Now, if you're expecting a grand revelationary kitchen reveal, I'm afraid today is not that day, because that is simply not how these things work. Over the coming months, we, and I'm including you in that, are going to have to think very carefully about every single aspect of this space as we decide on an oven, sink, taps, table, cabinet colour, hinge type, worktop material, etc., etc. And we could not be more relieved to have you all here to help. So, before we do get stuck in with planning the layout, if you have any tips whatsoever, I insist that you leave them for us in the comments. On that note, just as the final bales were being offloaded from the lorry, the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Grunfeld from Shaker Wholesale Handmade Kitchens pulled up on the drive at Duncombe House.
Oh, hi Tim, it's Carnage here, how are you?
Very well, Chaos.
Yeah, I'm good, nice to see you. You found us all right then?
Now, Tim's visit to the house on this day was ostensibly for him to simply measure up the kitchen. But he also very quickly measured us up and realised almost immediately that we are both naive and whimsical beyond measure. Tim has been in the kitchen business for literally decades and makes some of the most wonderful bespoke handmade shaker kitchens, which not only look fantastic, but are, more importantly, honestly and reasonably priced. Now, in a few weeks' time, we are going to be heading down to the Shaker Wholesale showroom in Surrey, where we will be looking at myriad colour and cabinet orientations. However, because Shaker make bespoke kitchens, we can literally have almost any colour that exists. Ladies and gentlemen, what colour should the kitchen at Duncombe House be? Also, if you're feeling nosy and would like to find out how much a Shaker Wholesale kitchen costs, I will pop the link in the description. So with Tim's visit a roaring success and brains overflowing with wonderful ideas, Jazzy popped down the drive to welcome the next throng of guests calling Butlers Lodge home for the weekend. Don't forget, if you do ever fancy a little break to the Staffordshire countryside, and who in their right mind wouldn't, the booking link for Butlers Lodge sits conveniently in our video description. So whilst Jazzy and Quincy were off busying themselves with that, I mushed back upstairs and cracked on with the dresser. Now that I had managed to remove the obstructing crossbeam, it was time to concentrate on the sink itself. Now, some cursory internet research led me to the conclusion that what I needed was some sink clips attached to the marble with resin. What I wasn't altogether clear on was how one is supposed to affix the sink with the required sealant exactly square when the holes are both round. This confusion led to me wasting a solid 45 minutes creating a rather lovely but totally useless cardboard cutout. I can't tell you why I decided to do this, it just felt like the right thing to do. After establishing this wasn't going to help me in any way whatsoever, I disregarded the cardboard and attempted to measure out the sink placement using tiny dots. When this was likewise totally ineffective, I decided to simply wing it. The theory here is that one affixes these threaded plates to the stone with the resin. The sink then sits in place like so, and these sink clips can be added and tightened up to hold it into place. I have never resined anything before in my life, so I decided, in a deviation from my normal track, to actually read the instructions before beginning. With the clips epoxied on, I return to the question of how the devil one is supposed to attach the sink from underneath, making sure it is straight. The first step I decided would be to offer the sink up to the hole from below by constructing a makeshift tower support from a hop-up and some wood fiberboard. Which, if I do say so myself, looked rather good. However, in the interests of not ruining this lovely sink, I decided in the end it would probably be best to hold fire for the moment and ask our actual plumber Mark his thoughts when he was next at the house. Of course, not before I unpacked all of the fabulous taps and put them in place so that I could see how it will eventually look. In my opinion, très bien. But please do make sure that you jump into the comments and let us know whether or not you think this tap and top combo works or not. So, as an extraordinarily busy Monday came to an end, we decided to relax for a few moments in the late afternoon sun, whilst listening to the soothing hum of the tractors and filling our nostrils with the comforting countryside aroma of rich, nutrient-filled effluent. The following day, buoyed from the previous day's successes, we were raring to get back into that loft and start insulating.
I'll stand next to it for perspective.
That's correct, ladies and gentlemen. We had approximately 27 wives worth of insulation to install.
It's going to be a busy day and night for me and you. How do we get them through the loft hatch? That is a good question. Just think how warm it's going to be though. Oh, new tools, yeah. Really cool scissors.
You're right, they are very cool scissors. So you're fully in the loop, my friends. This is the insulation plan. We need to insulate the loft here at Duncombe House to a depth of 250 millimeters, or approximately 10 inches. This is achieved by adding 3 criss-crossed layers of sheep's wool. The only problem, in fact no, there are quite a few problems, but the first problem is getting these bundles of joy into the loft itself. I don't want to be in misery guts, darling, but I'm almost certain that that isn't going to fit through the loft hatch.
Maybe they're in smaller bags inside. Well, the last one we did is when we had like half the ceiling down, isn't it? So we could get it up. We're just going to have to take them out individually.
So that's exactly what we did. Laboriously, tediously, schlepped them into the loft, one by one.
Sideways. It's in.
And then just as we were about to hop up into the loft and get cracking, we had a not so unexpected visitor.
I don't know. Down in the woods, down, you know where you tee off the thingy field? Where the pond is, at the bottom near mine. That's what I thought, but I don't know.
Hey, how are you getting on with your pickling?
Alright, Jazz.
Yeah?
I've eaten one lot.
And what was it like? Was it alright?
Alright, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What else are you pickling?
Just pickled onions and pickled beetroot and stuff.
I'm confused, you've already eaten it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no expert, but surely it takes longer than a week for an onion to pickle.
I suppose it does, but I've eaten it anyway.
So you just eaten onions in vinegar?
Yeah. You know, you get a sweet potato.
Yes.
Do you cook that exactly the same as an ordinary potato?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you make chips out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice with a bit of salmon.
Yeah. That's the only thing I haven't caught yet in the brook is a salmon.
Why does that not surprise me?
What were we going to ask you? You haven't bought the detector, have you, Jack?
What have you lost? What do you need the metal detector for?
Oh, up at the top wood, I lost my pin out of my bucket.
Anybody else experiencing a strong sense of deja vu?
The pin what goes through told me bucket.
That's annoying.
I'll be back tomorrow night now.
Yeah, we're here tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be around tomorrow, Rob. We'll bring the metal detector.
Robert, tomorrow morning I will bring my metal detector and my lucky metal detecting fleece, and we will find your tractor pin. But today we must focus on insulation. Step 1. Load the cargo into the hold without falling through the ceiling.
Oh. Okay.
Step 2. Install the first 75mm layer in between the joists without tripping over a blasted servant's bell / ding-a-ling wire and breaking one's neck. Now, it's worth noting that this task, albeit heinously awkward, uncomfortable, and downright miserable, is made vastly more congenial through the use of sheep's wool. Unlike fiberglass, sheep's wool doesn't irritate the eyes or the skin, and when you want to cut it, the vast majority of the time, you can simply just tear it. Honestly, we will never use any other type of insulation again. Once the initial 75 had been laid in between the joists, it was time to roll out and crisscross.
Okay, first day done of re-insulating the loft. It just looks so neat and like a little duvet that we're just tucking in. It's actually quite a relaxing thing to do. The only problem is obviously you just kind of like can't stand up. You've got to be so careful when you're treading. You've kind of got cobwebs hitting you in the face. But you just got to carry on and keep going. So I think we've done quite well for day one. We've probably done a third.
I'm going to say a quarter.
Maybe even half of the roof space, I'm going to say. But yeah, so back at it tomorrow.
And with the new dawn came a bright and blustery day. The perfect day for some early morning treasure hunting. Now, I realised suddenly when making today's video that we have never really explained how Robert, aka our beloved Captain of Chaos, fits in to this dysfunctional puzzle of ours. Robert, unsurprisingly, is a farmer who many moons ago was befriended by Jazzy's father and has, until very recently at least, lived in a caravan at the bottom of our garden. Over the years, Robert has become a truly dear friend of ours, helping us out with all manner of more countryside tasks. So, when he came to me for help in finding his third favourite tractor pin, I immediately bore arms. Now, those of you who have been here a while will know, in quiet times at least, that I am rather partial to the fanciful, delusional and deeply romantic extreme sport of metal detecting, putting me in a perfect position to help my good friend out. First things first, as any self-respecting mud fisherman knows, lucky clothing is essential. So I donned my Duncombe House Emporium Hydrangea Macrophylla t-shirt and lucky Danebury Metal Detecting Club fleece. If you know, you know. And in fact, if you don't know, you flipping well should. After this episode, I want you to immediately watch the BBC television show The Detectorists. It is perfection. So with my lucky fleece adorned, I hopped in the truck and headed up the field so that the hunt could commence. Now, as I mentioned, Rob is a very dear friend to me, but like us all, he comes with certain foibles. I had asked Robert to bring with him a spade or a fork. Somehow, that had been lost in translation, and he presented me with a wooden chip fork. Beggars belief. So whilst he popped back down to grab an actual spade, I deployed my Minelab Manticore with carbon fibre shaft and 11-inch double D coils. This is the Nimbus 2000 of metal detectors, my friends. With Rob back, spade in hand, we got to bipping, praying to the gods of detecting that the bucket pin would be forthcoming. And after an hour of scrabbling about in the mud, you are not going to believe how many tractor pins we found. In the end, it was a grand total of 0. However, what we did find was far more exciting. Before I reveal to you all, however, the treasure we uncovered, which had Rob grinning like a Cheshire cat, we have a loft that needs finishing off.
And we're back, day 2 of insulating the loft. Hoping if we do a full day today, like a full day, we might be able to get it all done, but that might also mean us being here till midnight. So we'll see how we go. We've got it today and it's absolutely freezing. The house was once again colder than the outside. Obviously we haven't got the heating on, so first things first, we've got the fire set up. Also Quincy's here all day, so she can sit by the fire while we're in the loft. Jax hasn't been ridiculous, but anyway. Fire's on, we've got snacks, we've got coffees, and we are going to start day 2 of insulating this loft.
All things considered, day 2 of insulating the loft was rather lovely. We started by criss-crossing the space above our bedroom. Then we went all the way back through and snipped up the smaller pieces of sheep's wool required for the light well. How satisfying is this?
We are done. All the insulation is in the loft. That is a full 2 days work, but it was great. It's actually really, not a bad job. It's kind of therapeutic, being able to cut it and just perfectly put it into place. And it's so nice, you can rip it or you can just snip it perfectly with scissors. It's just more the fact that you're in a loft and you can't stand up and you can't really stand anywhere and you're tripping over cables all the time. But we have done it. So the next piece of the puzzle is a room we've kind of ignored for a long time. Yeah, we've just been avoiding it really. It's the little guest room and it currently has no ceiling. Every wall is a mess and every wall is a different type, brick, stone. So it's a bit difficult and we've been ignoring it. But it's the final piece, and once we have that done, we can actually start to do the fun stuff, which, as I'm sure you're aware, I am desperate to get to the good stuff. The marble, the joinery, the secret doors, the wardrobes, the marble. So we are going to try and make a big effort to push through and try and get on with the little guest room.
But perhaps not today, darling. Let's just clear up the mess that we've made and show the people what they really want to see. Rob and Jack's most excellent treasure. Now, Jazzy says that I need to throw these work jeans into the skip, but I reckon they've got at least another month in them. Let us know whose side you're on in the comments, please. So we may not have found the digger pin, my friends, but as I said, we were not left wanting when it came to treasure. Our hour in the mud furnished us, in no particular order, with the following priceless artefacts. First up is this antique Coca-Cola can, circa 1812. This was followed swiftly by this boat / bit off a tractor. After scanning a little further, we pulled up a bottle of Chateau Neuf de Pape, likely a 1947 vintage. And then, by some miracle, we found this. Jackpot, ladies and gentlemen. We are off to Benidorm. Well, my friends, it has been another frenetic and turbulent week here in the heart of the English countryside. It truly feels that we are beginning to turn a corner here with the restoration, renovation and rejuvenation of Duncombe House. We are forever and always deeply grateful to every single one of you who take the time out of your busy lives to watch our bedlamite progress here each week. If you can find it in your hearts to like, hype, subscribe and nourish us with your comments, we would be eternally grateful. The total number of screws in the jar, by the way, was 573. So, Mary Rudd, you are the resounding winner with an insanely close guess of 565. Mary, you are a most esteemed estimator. But followed, closely behind it must be said, in second and third place by Louise Williams with 542 and Liz Regan with 522. Gosh, ladies, you make my guess of 101 look rather ridiculous. Dunkers, friends, and fellow human beings, TTFN.